with the Bulls. That's what I do with you in the morning. Running with Bulls.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Check out this Raptors fan in the crowd doing his kinesiology homework. That's what we call dedication and multitasking.
So this guy stood outside all day to get in line for Jurassic Park so he could do his homework. Come on.
That kinesiology's hard now, Jenna. It's hard. You got to spend some time on that.
I know.
Kinesiology is the study of... I'm not a trick question. I'm actually asking.
I'm not going to mess this up.
Oh, I'm not
supposed to be the smartest guy on TV. I know the answer to it, but I'm not.
I don't know the answer to it.
It's how everything fits together and moves. So body movement and the mechanics of body movement.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know if... Also, I've been to a Summer Olympics, so...
Wow. Jenna Wolf,
I'm good.
This morning
we got a staff of 15, 11 of them work for you, for her. 2 of them are doing your hair.
Hold on.
And the other one
Hold on
does
a
your
second.
wardrobe.
Jenna Wolf this morning, hand to God, learned what Wi-Fi
that
was.
is not...
But somehow just knew kinesiology.
When it comes to your body, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Wow.
That didn't come out right. Let's go back to when I answered the kinesiology part correctly. Time for some stories to start your mornings. Sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. Warriors beat the Raptors 109-104 to even the series at 1-1. Big shot and a big moment for a guy named Andre Iguodala, nailing a three-pointer to put the Warriors up 5 with time winding down. Nick, what'd you make of the final possession?
I mean, it was a bit of a comedy of errors. The Raptors could have fouled Draymond, who's not a great free throw shooter. Then they could have fouled Livingston. Then they could have fouled Draymond again. They didn't do any of those things, so they screwed up a few times. Iggy's not supposed to take that shot, not with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, given the time and score, but he made it. So it's an all-time great play. That's how sports work out sometimes.
It's all-time great play if they win the series.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, correct. It could be now an all-time great play if the Warriors go on to win this series, because they were going to be in big trouble if they fell down 0-2. Go ahead.
Okay, moving on to Draymond Green. Nearly had a triple-double with 17 points, 10 boards, 9 assists in the Game 2 win. Chris, what'd you make of Draymond's night?
Draymond was great right from the beginning. Draymond didn't start game number 2 at the opening whistle. He started right after game number 1. First of all, he took the personal challenge. I'm going to slow down Siakam. He had their defense engaged early, orchestrating the offense when they needed to. Then they switched to Boogie Cousins, but Draymond was... This is championship basketball. People don't think experience does not help. Draymond losing 25 pounds. Draymond was spectacular in these 2 games that we've seen.
And you saw a little bit, some flashes of what you saw from Draymond in the Western Conference Finals when he had the opportunity to push the pace, to have a one-man fast break.
Kyle Lowry was guarding him, and he had those fouls. He couldn't do anything. Draymond took advantage of it.
Right around him and initiated the offense as well. He can't do that repeatedly against Toronto the way he could Portland, but in moments he found it last night. That was huge.
All right, let's talk some Kevin Durant. So there's much talk that he could be just days away from making his debut in the finals. Maybe Game 3, maybe Game 4, depending on how he practices this week. Steve Kerr said it's feasible KD could play after only 1 practice. CC, should the Warriors be careful, though, about rushing KD back too soon?
It's up to KD. I mean, once he gets cleared, and if he can tolerate the pain and he's not a liability, especially on the defensive end, no, it's up to KD. If he wants to take the chance, it's going to be on him. Dennis Green used to tell me, hey, man, everyone's got to practice one. Hey, Chris, you ain't got to practice. As long as you get here, if you get to the game, you look at me and tell me you can go because I trust you and you know your body. It's about knowing your body. Practice is not necessary in this when you're trying to go for a 3-peat.
I would say it's still very unlikely KD plays in Game 3. Whether or not he plays in Game 4, we'll see what his practice schedule is. But I think everyone needs to understand, whatever game he plays in, whether it's 3 or 4, that first game, what's he going to play? 18 to 22 minutes on the top end. Like, you're not going to get 35 minutes from Kevin Durant in his first game back.
I'm going to tell you what you're going to get. They're going to play him in the first half of the game and see how he feels. No one knows what he's going to do the second half, just like Boogie Cousins. He played 10 minutes in the first game. Oh, okay, we're going to ramp that up because he's feeling better. KD, I believe, will be in the same category as far as let's look at him. Let's see how he feels, and then we'll decide during the game.
All right, so you mentioned KD and Boogie. While Kevin Durant still sits out, DeMarcus Cousins was back in after coming off the bench in Game 1. Steve Kerr felt the Warriors needed a bigger boost from Boogie, and they got it. Back in the starting lineup to the tune of 11 points, 10 boards, 6 assists in 28 minutes of play. Good play on both ends of the court. Here's Boogie Cousins on how it feels to be producing again.
This is what I've worked for my entire career, to be on this stage, to have this opportunity, to play for something. But, once they told me I had a chance, a slight chance at, being able to return, it basically was up to me and the work and the time I put in behind the injury. It was up to me. So, I put the work and the time in, and with God's grace, I'm able to be out here and, play the game that I love. So, with that, I've told y'all before, I don't take any of this for granted. I've seen how quick this game can be taken away from you. So every chance I get to go out there and play, I'm going to leave it on the floor.
All right, CeCe, what'd you make of what Boogie did last night? How impressive was his Game 2 after what he did in Game 1?
Well, if you know Boogie Cousins and you know about basketball, this is what he does. He has amazing offensive skill. Not only be able to shoot the basketball from deep at 6'10", his passing ability is right up under his ability, his versatility from the offense, being able to shoot it from all parts of the court. Mid-range game, also has a low post game. That's why all the news about Boogie Cousins joining the Warriors, like, geez, now this is piling on. They're adding another all-star. And the thing about Boogie that becomes so important with KD being out is because with Kevon Looney in the game, Toronto and Nick Nurse had a great game plan. We're not going to guard 3 of them. We're only going to guard Clay. We're only going to guard Steph. And now you have to have an offensive threat. And he says, like the coaches teach you, when you're learning basketball, every time you get the basketball, be a triple threat. Be able to shoot, pass, or dribble every time you get it. Boogie Cousins, his fundamentals are very, very good at that. We saw last night and in game number 1, his exceptional passing ability. We saw him make some shots, but then also we saw him be a problem in the low post because he can put you into foul trouble. The big men of Toronto, they stayed in foul trouble. Yep. And if you get them in foul trouble, the Warriors are going to beat you at the free throw line. So I thought Boogie Cousins, given what he's overcome, given the reputation that he has as a selfish person in his biggest moments in his career, he played a sensational game. They don't get this win if Boogie Cousins does not play the type of basketball he played in game number 2. And Steve Kerr did a good job because he could have went with 3 or 4 different starting lineups. Choosing to utilize Boogie. He told Boogie before the game, asked him what he thought about it. Boogie said, about damn time. Right.
and you also saw Boogie from the opening tip. I think part of it was probably because he knew he was expected to play about 20 minutes. And so he wasn't worried about foul trouble or fatigue the way you would normally if you think you're going to play 35 to 40 minutes. From the opening tip, he's up in Marc Gasol. And he has played defensively. Now, they haven't really forced him to guard the pick and roll much. And Mark Jackson kept bringing this up. I'm not sure why Toronto hasn't done that. But he has the best defensive rating of any Warrior that's played big minutes in this series. When he's on the court, they have an 88 defensive rating, which would be the best in the league by about 12 points over the course of a season from a team perspective. He had the best plus-minus on a per-minute and total basis on the team yesterday. And once Kevon Looney goes out, if Boogie's not available, you're taking Andrew Bogut, who was just playing in Australia a few months ago, or a month and a half ago, and he would have had to play 30 minutes or 25 plus minutes.
No, Jordan Bell would have been back playing.
And Jordan Bell would have been the other one. Absolutely right. Who they tried to start in game 1 and saw that he is right now not equipped for this level, it would appear.
He's not a center.
Right. You're going to be undersized. You're going to be giving up some size without adding. When you go undersized, you want to add some offense, but Jordan Bell's not adding a ton of offense for you. But for Boogie, who was going into this year in the argument for best NBA players ever, who had never played in a playoff game, to get his first taste of playoff basketball, then suffer an injury that when the day after that injury, they said it was an 8-week recovery time. And the general response to that is, man, that is optimistic. It has been less than 7 weeks, and he was critical for them yesterday in obviously the biggest game he's ever played in by a factor of 10. You have to be happy for Boogie Cousins to fight his way back into the lineup, to work so hard, and then to have this moment where he was really important for them on both ends of the court.
Quick question, Steve, before we move on. You said he was the difference maker last night. How much of Kerr starting him was a psychological edge for him, knowing, you know, he wasn't going to come off the bench, that Kerr had that confidence in him? And how much did that help?
Listen, when you're a starter, you're a starter.